Sci-Fi Horror Fest Day 2. Let's give a round of applause for our celebrities. My name is Jack Corbett. I am from the podcast Geek Pod. So it's nice to meet you all today. Give yourself a round of applause. It's truly an honor to be with you at Sci-Fi Horror Fest for our 4th straight year. So let's introduce our celebrities. We have William Forsythe. Yeah. Carolyn Williams. Tyler May. Lisa Wilcox. Bill Moseley. Terrence Zdunich. Now remember, everybody, this is about you guys. I'm just your moderator, so ask the questions. This is all about you. So, without further ado, let's kick it to you. Who has a question?
This is going well. Right over there. I feel like we're appearing before Congress.
I thought this was NASA. It looks like you guys are.
I know. We're gonna really have to lie now.
I have a question for Terrence and Bill.
Okay.
What was the most fun scene to film of Repo?
Well, I'll say this. So, Repo, maybe as opposed to a lot of the films that come through, it started out as a stage play. So, and playing the grave robber, screaming graves, had become kind of a signature as just a singer and I guess as a performance artist. So along the way when it became a movie, I would say the first time I got to walk on now the real graveyard set was really cool. And I think one of the things that made the set especially cool, we filmed the whole thing on a sound stage as opposed to just finding a cool graveyard, I suppose. So it looked like it was indoors, and the director and myself said, well, let's lean into that fact. So they hung chandeliers and what looked otherwise like an outdoors graveyard. And I thought, yeah, that completes the circle. And that's all I have.
Mine was doing Mark It Up, the song Mark It Up, and Paris Hilton goosed me. And I thought that was pretty special. I love Paris Hilton. I thought she did a fantastic job. For those of you who've seen Repo, a lot of people going, "Oh, Paris Hilton's in it," and it's like, yeah, she was awesome. So I keep saying that, and I'm sure she doesn't need my support, but she was awesome. I love Paris, except when she goosed me.
You love that the most. Come
Well,
on,
that,
don't lie.
she was a little rough.
All right, everybody, we have other celebrities. Does anybody else have a question today?
We just started,
It's
dude.
okay, let them answer all the questions. We're just taking
I thought-
I have a couple of people, but I'll get to you. I'm sure I'll be able to get to each one individually. See, look what you started.
I am sorry.
Now they're riddled with guilt, gambling and asking questions.
Lisa. Yeah. So your character in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, you were a daydreamer. I identify with that. I was always a daydreamer. And another movie that I watched with another daydreamer was Bruiser. So I like those cut scenes where you think it really happens and then it goes back and they're just daydreaming. Those make it really funny. Can you give us something in your life where that applies to you besides with your character? Like maybe a personal moment where you thought of doing that to somebody, like some, going irate on somebody, or, just daydreamed about something first and then it just didn't happen, but it was very realistic.
Oh, I daydreamed about those bullies in grade school. One day I'd get back to them. That was my thing. But in my real life, daydreaming was more, I was a big reader. I immersed myself in the stories and the characters, and I so badly wanted to be Nancy true. And so that was my fantasy world, were books, is where I just disappeared into that. Yeah. Nice question.
Oh my God, it's too quiet in here.
Right in the back.
Falls over the crowd.
Right in the back.
As far as I'm concerned, this whole thing is fucking
What's up?
My name is Ethan, and I have a question for Michael Myers. How do you think Michael Myers would do against Sabretooth?
Wait, I gotta come out of my daydream. Just that's a hard one to answer, man. I'd have to kick my own ass. I'd win either way.
You're 6'9" over there, so absolutely.
Yeah, what the heck? All right, I'm going back to my daydream now.
Does anybody else have questions? Go ahead. Harry over there.
Right here, red shirt.
Yeah.
My name's Luke. I recently watched an interview with Rob Zombie about the making of like Halloween. He mentioned like working like with like the bigger studio, like the Weinsteins. He dealt with a lot of migraine. Like, do you have any stories of like you've seen him like on set? Like, I know he like threw like scripts away from notes and stuff that pissed him off. Like,
Yeah, I mean the Weinsteins. Oh Jesus. That second
That's an
one.
encyclopedia.
That second one was a little bit of a nightmare. I mean, Robin. No, Robin coming to my trailer at the end of the day of shooting. You know, we'd have a good day, or you know, and he'd go, "Oh, that fucking boy."
I didn't think so, but I was thinking.
And they're like, "Oh, we gotta rewrite tomorrow's stuff." And I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, the Weinsteins want to see Michael Myers in a fucking tanning salon or something." I'm like, "You're not gonna do that, are you? Like, why the fuck would Michael Myers go into a tanning salon?" So, yeah, they were a bit of a. I mean, I think they're fail. I mean, you know, he had other things to do besides go through a tanning salon. You know, so they kept coming up with ideas like that. And then for the second one, they took, I think it was what, $5 million in the budget, and then said he had to do trailers for the movie, so he had to incorporate that into the film. Like that's why you got the glass coffin, you got all the pumpkin head stuff and all that stuff, because he was gonna not waste the money from the movie on just those, because then it'd take away from the movie. So he had to try and figure out how to incorporate all that in, you know. And then there was another day that 4 of them decided to jump on a plane from New York and fly down and take money out of the budget for their private jet, which kind of pissed Rob off a bit. Yeah, and then, you know, I got to sit there right next to Weinstein himself, next to Rob, and he goes, so Tyler, are you a method actor like Daniel Day-Lewis? I go, yeah, I just fucking killed 20 people in the Rob just cracked up. It's like, what kind of stupid fucking question is that? You know? So yeah, it was fun. Oh, we're recording this. I didn't say anything.
You didn't what? You didn't
Take it all back, I take it
Exactly.
Take it all back. Nah, he said
You hung out with 20 people. You didn't kill 20 people. You hung out with 20 people.
right, exactly.
Okay.
And then he killed them.
And then he killed them.
Yeah, so it was interesting to say the least. Yeah.
Very cool. Anybody else have questions? Yeah, over here.
Hi, my name's Travis.
Go ahead, Travis.
I've already got the mic. You know.
Okay, that's sorry.
I stole it. It's fine. Yeah.
Where is he?
My question is more for William Forsythe and Bill Moseley. You guys have had a very varied career, from comedies to horror to everything in between. Bill, you're also an excellent musician. So, is there any one company that you worked with that was better for you than other companies? Because I know you've worked with Full Moon, you've worked with the Weinsteins, you've worked with everybody. So, I just want to know, what was your favorite?
I sued the Weinsteins.
Why?
to do with money. Could be.
Well, they did say, sue us. So I did. Took them at their word.
Yep.
Very cool.
And I like working for Canon Films. Well, let's see, no, not really. Lionsgate, I guess, they were good. They were, good supporters. Because we shot House of a Thousand Corpses for Universal. And once they saw a screening of House of a Thousand Corpses back in the year 2000, they freaked out and said, they dropped us. And so we ended up, Rob and I ended up wandering in the woods for about 3 years. I think there was a flirtation with MGM, and that didn't work out. And then finally, after 3 years, Lionsgate saw the movie, and Peter Block was the head of acquisitions and movies at that time. And he loved it, and picked us up. And that really saved our bacon. There are little posters you can still get for House of a Thousand Corpses, and on the bottom it says a Pacific Palisades Entertainment release. And that's what Rob was going to release it himself, because after 3 years he was wasn't getting picked up, and he was going to release it himself, so he put that on a poster that he distributed at Lollapalooza. And then right after that, Lionsgate said we want it, and opening weekend I think we made back our budget, which is great, and it just took off, and that really kind of began the golden age of Lionsgate horror. I know that Cabin Fever followed that, and there were a bunch of cool movies, but Lionsgate, yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. Go ahead.
This question's for Tyler. I asked you briefly at the table about the fight between you and Ken Foray and Halloween 1.
Yeah.
Awesome story. Did Rob have any input as to what you guys were gonna do? Like, did you intentionally break the bathroom stall, or did he say, "Hey guys, I just want you to go hog shit wild"?
No, we kind of had it laid out, and Ken said, "Oh, I want it to look real." I said, "Okay, here we go." And then the first time he came at me, the floor was slick, and I slid backwards in the slippers, and Rob yells, "Cut," and he goes, "That doesn't look good." And I go, "Just a minute." So I called to the props guys. I said, "You guys got any of that stickum?" And Rob knew what I was doing. He's like, "Oh shit, here we go." So they sprayed the bottom of my slippers. So the next time that Ken came out of the bathroom stall to meet me, he thought he was gonna have a heyday with me, and it was. And I said, "Get ready for a ride, motherfucker." And I drove him into that wall. I grabbed his wrist to protect him, and I proceeded to thrash the fuck out of that bathroom stall. And
With him?
With him. Go Grid. And then, so at the end of the scene, he slides down the toilet. He's got the blood dripping down his ass and everything. He's lying in a pool of blood there. And I said to Wayne Toth, the effects guy, I shut the lights off at the bathroom. We were going to lunch. I said, "Let's just leave him there for a bit." And he was like in all this sticky goo. And he went, guys, hey. And Rob goes in there and he goes, "Wow, this breakaway stuff is really cool." And the props guy goes, "You're buying a whole new bathroom." We broke shit like crazy. Everything was trash. So yeah. So Ken got his way. It was real.
So Ty, let me ask you real quick. So you're saying at the end of the movie, here's your paycheck, but slowly the money's coming back. You owe this for this damage. You owe this. Here's a dollar bill.
I didn't have to pay for the bathroom stuff.
Good.
My name is Zevin, and what made you guys want to be scary actors?
What made us want to be
Scary actors.
Scary actors.
Yeah.
Bad childhood for me.
That child with busted his voice.
I don't think I chose scary movies, they chose me. But it's interesting, my resume is honestly about this much horror and then this much soap operas and sitcoms and episodic and TV movies and a lot of other stuff. But I will share, I was thrilled to become part of this world because as a kid, since even when I was younger than you are, I loved horror films. And I got started on the black and whites because on Saturdays was cartoon day, and at noon the Monkeys show was on, and then all afternoon it would be black and white horror films, and I was absolutely fascinated. In fact, in college, all the girls had like Bruce Springsteen in the dorms, posters on their wall. No, I have Bela Lugosi. And a big poster. So.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, 1 second. We have a very important question over here.
Yes. Absolutely.
What's the question?
I'd like to know which one you like filming better, Nightmare on Elm Street 4 or 5. 4 or 5.
Oh my gosh, that's hard. You know that movie Sophie's Choice, and you have to choose between your children. It's okay. It's kind of like that. I would have to say 4. 4 was harder in a way because one, I had this platinum blonde hair, and I got the role, and they said, "Oh, by the way, we want to dye your hair red." That's okay. And instead we did a rinse. So every morning I had to have this rinse put on. They'd have 2 blow dryers on my head, you know, so that was every morning. So that was kind of thing. Also, I had to keep track of the deaths because obviously, you know, we don't film in sequential order, in sequence. You know, we could be doing scene 35 in the morning and then doing scene 4 in the afternoon. So I had to keep track because I wanted it to be believable that Alice is gaining her strength, so that arc would be believable. So I wrote in my script for every scene who had died by then, because that's where I'm getting my strength. So we're my friends, right? And say, okay, Red is dead, or you know, so-and-so's dead now, you're right. So I could make sure and guide myself for the level of intensity or strength that Alice was at. So it was a lot of work. But 4 is my favorite over 5, only because it's the beginning of Alice, and I love the beginning story of Alice, you know, so meek and shy and daydreamer, right? And how she wakes up and she grows up and she faces reality and reveals herself as she takes those pictures off the mirror and sees herself in full light. So.
That's what's cool about your character in Nightmare, because like you said, you had that mirror of pictures, and you're slowly taking them away. Your confidence is growing, and then your brother dies, and you have his nunchucks, and then you're doing that badass scene. And you're Alice Johnson, and you lived. You beat Freddy Krueger.
Alice lives.
Okay, are any of you Sci-fi core? What's up next? And you do realize that we have a very large tax incentive here, 40% plus post.
Huh?
That was my pitch for if you guys want to film a film here.
Yes, are we filming here because there are great tax incentives?
Let me reinstate that. Are any of you Sci-fi core or all SAG?
Oh, SAG.
Yes, SAG.
Okay.
Or any of us Fi-Core.
Yeah.
Fi-Core.
I'm not Fi-Core, I'm SAG.
Then put your hand out.
Okay, that answers number 1.
Be careful, his shoes are really sticky.
Yeah.
And all of your comments are being recorded.
And then number 2, what's up next for all of you?
Like what projects are coming up?
Long trip home.
Well, I'll take that. I have been working since COVID in my laboratory on a new album.
That's really cool.
This is under American Murder Song, which is murder ballads set in different parts of American history. So it's sort of like true crime with a beat.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's a new album coming out, so stay tuned around Halloween and keep an eye out for American Murder Song.
Cool.
That's amazing.
Nice. I lap dancing for many, many years, married, children, and all that good stuff. But the past 10 years, I have been just doing acting. And last year, I did 6 films, And I just did the last sleepover. You might know Felissa Rose.
Yeah.
She's in it. And I'm doing a film the end of September called The Desperate, working with Cut to the Chase Productions, and I did a film with them called Blood on the Bleachers last year. Yes, Blood on the Bleachers, which is going to be streaming. I just posted something on my Instagram. It's going to be streaming very soon. And then I have another film called Compulsion at the beginning of Thanksgiving. So what's kind of fun is in the independent world, you know, you work with a director, production company, and you love them and they love you, and they bring you back for another film, and they keep you in mind for other stuff. So I knock on whatever this is. Just happy to be a working actor. A bunch of things streaming. I don't know. Everyone seems to know this. I just learned this. You can go to the little search, the magnifying glass, and put your name in, and then it comes up on what is playing, what's streaming out there. Amazon Prime or Tubi or whatever it might be. So. Check it out, Lisa's back.
I have a question for Mr. Forsythe. I know this is a horror convention, but I gotta ask, how was it stepping into the role of some of the most prolific Italian gangsters in your career, in Gotti and The Untouchables?
Fucking great. When I got a chance to play Al Capone, I decided I'm going to get to know who Al Capone is no matter what I have to do. And so I started off in Brooklyn, where he came from. I had a couple people, some of them were historians, some of them you might call historians. I had people that I started out asking a lot of questions, and by the time I played him, by the time I was done, I met over 100 people who knew Al, and some that lived with him and knew him very, very well. So I was able to get a first-hand grasp on who he was as a person, and no one had ever played him ever like he was, because every single person told me something that told me that they had never done it. So for me, that was a great step into it. Also, my grandfather, who's also Italian, he was brought up in the same neighborhood, had the same exact initials as Al Capone, and also apparently went on a little vacation at some point. All good. Loved it.
Awesome, thank you.
I have a question for Bill Moseley and Caroline Williams.
You go first, Bill.
What was your favorite scene to do on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2?
Just about every one of them was my favorite scene. But we were doing a scene, I was smashing LG's brains with a claw hammer in the radio station. I'm just beating him. And we did about maybe 10 takes. This was back in the day when we actually had film in the camera and bright lights, and it was hot and it was sticky. And every time I would hit LG with a hammer, Tom Savini was right off camera, and he was pumping blood through like a little tube on Lou Perryman's forehead. So blood was spraying, and I was wailing away, going a 1 and a 2 and a 3. Calm down now. And a couple of times we cut, and I looked, and the hammer I was using had bent over, because it would look like a claw hammer, but it was made of foam rubber, and it had a coat hanger wire in it. That was all that was keeping it one piece. And I would be banging away, and then it would just kind of bend, and so we had to, they couldn't use those. But finally, we had done about 10 takes, and it was hot and sticky, and each time we had to reset, clean up LG, and reload the blood pump. And Toby said, yeah, that was good. Let's just do one more. And I said, I was getting a little peeved, and I said, Toby, am I doing something wrong? And he said, oh, hell no, Bill, I'm just having fun watching you. To this day, that was the greatest compliment I've ever got.
My favorite scene, I'm not even in. I love the bridge scene. I think it's a masterpiece of great cinema. It's got a million cuts in like 2 minutes, something. It's a logistical nightmare, and that is what makes it such an incredible achievement. And the stunting and the stunt driving and the performances and Tom Savini's special effects. I mean, they had to incorporate every single element of filmmaking that night, and they had to get it done in one night, and they did it, and it's fucking awesome. And quickly, the films I have coming up are Marrying Mary Martindale with Dan Roebuck. I have What Did You Do, a North thriller with Johnny Stoddard and Brian Villalobos. And then I have, we have a documentary, The Making of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, produced by Heather Buckley. We will have that next year. It's gonna have, it also shows you how Austin formed as a film capital. And it includes so many very surprising people that you may and may not know. And then I will head to Croatia next month to do The Gray. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Good luck. Croatia. Croatia.
If you're Croatian, do not at me.
Yep. And then we'll come up to you guys.
My question is for Caroline. The scene is actually the same scene I was just talking about, but the room that you were in, where Leatherface, right here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry.
Stand up.
You're hidden by
There
a
we
hat.
go.
The scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 where Leatherface was coming at you and you were like, it was like a tub and the chainsaw was like in the tub and you were just screaming and screaming and screaming. I'm never gonna forget that scream. And did you, like, how much of it was acting and how much of it was because there was a chainsaw between your legs? Did you lose your voice after screaming that much?
If you've ever had a good lover. Teeth matters. No, seriously. I'm just saying shit at this point. No, seriously. It was a challenging scene. There was actual ice in the tub. And it was different. It was kind of bifurcated because Bill Johnson does the very romancing, lovely, close-in seduction of the leg. But the whole time, the saw does have teeth on it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a dance. Then the second part is Bob Elmore subs in because he's got to take the thrusting, hot, burning strokes into the tub of ice and then pull out, at which time we cut to wrecking the inside of the radio station. It took a couple of days, Bill. Do you remember?
I don't remember. No.
Yeah. It was, I found it fun, but you know, it depends on what you dig. So.
Well, I'm doing the wrong kind of movies.
Dude, you got the wrong kind of weapons.
How do you know?
I've had the best.
This is going off the track.
Yep. What do you
That's
got?
where we wanna
We'll bring it back.
go.
We'll bring it back in. Don't worry.
This is off the
This is
track.
fine.
That was the horse joke.
All right, guys.
I know
Question for Tyler and Bill.
There you go.
In the Rob Zombie movies, most difficult kill scenes to film.
Most of the what?
Most difficult kill scenes to film. In the Halloween movies, and then Bill for House and Devil's Rejects.
I still did.
Difficult kill scenes.
Oh, the difficult kill scene.
Oh, yes.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. It's expensive.
He
killed
go
me
right to
too.
the fucking floor, man.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I had to stab a sandbag probably 30 times each take. And then on the last one, Rob goes, give it one more. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then that's where that big end thrust came. So I do have a big weapon too.
But it only has one sharpened edge.
That's true. That's true. Anyhow, but yeah, that would probably be. And then the smashing the ceiling with Lori walking on top of the 2x4. Shit was falling all over me and couldn't see anything, and yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, we suffer for our art. Yeah, right. But we make them suffer too. I guess mine was Devil's Rejects, Banjo and Sullivan, and killing them. It was actually fun because our stunt coordinator on Devil's Rejects was Kane Hodder. He was our stunt coordinator, and he taught me the fish hook, which I was trying to turn a banjo over on his back, and Kane told me about the fish hook. He said, "Yeah, just stick your finger in his cheek and pull him over." That's the fish hook. And he pulled him over, and then I was gonna cut off Lou Temple's face, and Lou Temple was complaining, and he kept saying, he kept spitting in my face in the takes. And so I was actually just about ready to cut off his face. It was like, and it's like.
Was he doing that on purpose? Or was
I think it was part of his method, but I've got a method too. So I guess those were some difficult stuff. Yeah, enjoyable. And then stabbing Mary Warnoff in the back. That was sad because at the very beginning there's a waitress. We commandeer her car, and I stab her in the back. Well, somehow I had thought I heard, and we use a retractable knife, so the blade goes back in the handle. But I thought I heard, "Don't hit the little square that's in her back under her costume," and of course that's what protects her. And I got into my head that they would said, "Don't hit that." Oh. So I got her in the back instead. I mean, it didn't go into her, but it created a welt, and she gave a very, very realistic scream. She was like, "Ah!" It was like, wow, that was really good. Well, then cut to 5 minutes later, she's there, and her costume is off. She's getting, the medic is like spraying something on her back. Oh.
That's what my method acting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a rough business. Sorry, Mary. Whenever I see her, I've seen her a bunch of times. I always apologize.
I have a question for Caroline and Bill. What was the auditioning process for Texas Chainsaw Part 2?
Bill looked at me. I can give you that auditioning process in 4 sentences. I ran screaming down the hallway to the casting office. I bust into the room screaming. I get down on my hands and knees and pull the chairs out from Toby and Kit. I pile them in front of the door. Okay, 5. I pile them in front of the door and back. Okay, here's 4. It's a compound sentence. I pile them in front of the door and back away into the corner saying, "They live on fear, they live on fear."
Period.
That's it.
I used that when I auditioned for The Blob. Thank you. For me, I made a short film called The Texas Chainsaw Manicure.
This is great. And you can find this where?
I played the hitchhiker. It was in a beauty parlor on Staten Island, and I played the hitchhiker in that little short. Basically, a woman goes into beauty parlor, gets her hair done. She's sitting under the dryer. She wants a manicure. The beautician calls to the back of the shop, "Manicure." You hear the chainsaw, the sliding steel door opens, out comes Leatherface, running toward this poor woman who's pinned down with a hair dryer, and starts sewing on her fingers. She's screaming. She passes out. The beautician slaps her cheek, brings her back. She's going, "No, no, no." Oh. Fabulous manicure. She goes out of the shop. there's her husband in the pickup truck waiting for her. She goes, "Look, honey, I got the best manicure ever." And I am like dressed as the hitchhiker with the wine mark, and I go, "Hey, that's great, honey. We should celebrate with some head cheese." And I got a real piece of head cheese, which is a little funky. In one take, I actually licked it. It was not a good idea. But a friend of mine showed that to Toby Hooper, and he liked the manicure. I wrote it, produced it. He liked. He said he gave me Toby's home number, and I called Toby, a couple of weeks or whatever, and I told him who I was. And he said, "Oh, hey, yeah, hell, Bill, I love the manicure. Now, who played the hitchhiker?" And I said, "Well, that was me, Toby." He said, "Well, if I ever do a sequel, I'll keep you in mind." And 2 years later, I got the call one night that they were interested in, hiring me as Chop Top. I never auditioned. That was basically it. So, if you want to get into the movies, make your own little thing, get somebody to watch it, and you never know.
Is the Texas Chainsaw Manicure available to be seen?
It's in my desk on a DVD. So come on down. Come on over. I'll put it on for you. So not yet. That was only 22 years ago.
That should be streaming.
42 years.
42 years should be streaming.
Next year is going to be the 40th anniversary of Chainsaw 2.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
We have time for 2 more questions. Anybody?
So my question is for Caroline and Bill. So do you have any funny behind the scenes stuff that happened on TCM2 at all?
Yeah.
Well, you go.
All right. Yes, when they were making a body mold of me, Tom Savini was he's the special effects makeup czar at the time, king of splatter, and in his shop I called it the House of Pain, and they needed to make nubbins, and nubbins is basically that looks like the mummified remains of the hitchhiker from the original movie who gets killed by a giant truck at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert. It's a little late for that. But anyway, they wanted to make nubbins, which Chop Top carries around. Just because he's dead doesn't mean he's not part of the family. And so I was put in a body mold. They basically just had me lying on a table, and they just encased me in plaster, and then started pouring in like warm concrete into this body mold to kind of create the nubbins, and I couldn't move. And I remember that just to entertain me or to torture me, they had this book of forensic pictures. They were black and white pictures of horribly mangled bodies. It was like from police files or something. Somebody bloated, or their head was shot off. And they just kept turning these pages as I was lying there, and the plaster was hardening. And anyway, that was kind of funny. I guess that wasn't really that funny.
It is now.
It is now.
But it is a cool book because it's got like dead fried people, and somebody with a giant pane of glass through the middle of their body. It's like, it's astonishing, right? And I called it the Ghoul School. And I had just gotten hired, and I go to do hair and makeup tests and things, and I meet Tom, and he takes me through the Ghoul School, and I look at the very same book. And he goes, "Oh, let me show you something, it's really wild." And he turns to this poor old man.
Are you going to describe that picture?
And his feet are in stirrups. His feet are in stirrups at the end of a bed. And the contraption is supposed to hold like a dildo, but it was actually more like a rocket. And it was massive. And he'd gotten it up in his ass. And And he died. He died leaving the rocket up in his ass. If there are children in the house, it's way too late for me to warn you. But I will tell you that Tom Savini laughed his ass off when he saw my face looking at that photo.
Yeah, I saw that too. Any kids, any impressionable kids that just heard that story, there's a lot of opportunities in the horror film business, so. Follow the yellow brick road.
All right, last question.
Right here.
So I have a question not about rockets, but in Repo.
Yes,
So
thank you.
we always talk about this, like the last of the movie's plot with Marty, where her body like disappears from the house, and then that woman is sitting there in the rocking chair when Shiloh finds out her dad is the Repo Man. What happened with that, and is that Marty in that chair?
Well, the answer is yes. You know, it's been a minute since I've seen the movie, but I feel like there was more that got cut than might have been. But yes, it's a spooky Victorian house where the portraits come alive, and sometimes maybe they were once alive. So that was the concept.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, everybody.
I'm surprised there are no Gacy questions for.
Yeah.
Fuck out,
All right, everybody enjoyed themselves here today?
Yeah.
Louder, come on.
Yeah.
Williams Forsythe.
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah.
Lisa Wilcox. Bill Moseley.
Yeah.
And Terrence Zdunich. Thank you, everybody, for being here today, everybody.
And the bar is open.